Welcome back to Rare US Coins, the channel where hidden treasures in your pocket come to life, and today we are diving into one of the most fascinating and surprisingly valuable coins in American history, the Liberty 1 cent 1980, a coin that many people overlook but collectors are hunting every single day because of its incredible story, rising demand, and a market value that can reach an astonishing $779,334 depending on condition, rarity, and unique mint errors. So if you have ever held a 1980 penny or even ignored one, this video might completely change the way you look at your spare change forever, because what seems like a simple copper coin could actually be a life-changing discovery waiting quietly in your collection or even in an old jar at home. Now let's travel back to the year 1980. A time when the United States was going through economic challenges with inflation rising and the cost of producing coins becoming a serious concern. The Lincoln cent, also known as the Liberty 1 cent, had already been in circulation since 1909, featuring the iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln on the front, and in 1980 it continued to carry that historical legacy, minted in massive quantities across different mints including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But what makes the 1980 penny so special is not just its age or design, it is the hidden varieties, minting errors, and exceptional condition coins that have turned ordinary cents into extraordinary collectibles. Worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in today's market, collectors know that not all coins are created equal, and the 1980 Liberty 1 cent proves that perfectly, because while millions were produced, only a tiny fraction exist today in pristine mint state or with rare errors that drive their value sky high. For example, coins with double die errors, off-center strikes, or unusual planchet compositions are among the most sought-after pieces, and these rare variations can transform a 1-cent coin into a high-value asset that collectors are willing to pay a fortune for. Imagine finding a coin in your drawer that looks slightly different, maybe the lettering is doubled or the strike is imperfect. That could be your golden ticket, because these small details are exactly what professional collectors and grading companies look for when determining a coin's true worth. Now let's talk about the material, because the 1980 penny was still primarily made of copper, containing 95% copper and 5% zinc, which gives it that rich reddish tone that collectors love. This was before the major composition change in 1982 when pennies switched to a zinc core, making the 1980 coin one of the last in the era of heavier copper cents and adding even more appeal among collectors who prefer the classic feel and weight of older coins. And when it comes to grading, condition is everything. Coins that are uncirculated, meaning they have never been used in everyday transactions, can achieve extremely high grades such as MS 67 or even higher, and these are the coins that reach extraordinary prices at auctions. A perfectly preserved 1980 Liberty 1 cent with strong luster, sharp details, and no visible marks can easily become a headline-making collectible, especially when combined with a rare mint error or unique characteristic. The market for rare coins has grown significantly over the years, with more investors and collectors entering the field, seeing coins not just as historical artifacts but as valuable assets that can appreciate over time, and the 1980 penny has become a part of that trend because of its accessibility and hidden potential. Many collectors start their journey with coins like this because they are relatively common in lower grades but offer the exciting possibility of discovering a rare and valuable piece. And that thrill of the hunt is what makes coin collecting so addictive and rewarding. Now you might be wondering how to identify if your 1980 penny is valuable. The first step is to check the mint mark located just below the date. A small letter D indicates it was minted in Denver, while no mint mark means it was produced in Philadelphia, and S represents San Francisco. Each mint has its own characteristics and production levels which can affect rarity and value. Then carefully examine the coin under good lighting or with a magnifying glass to spot any unusual features such as doubling in the text, misaligned designs, or surface anomalies. These details can significantly increase the coin's value and make it stand out in the collector's market. Another important factor is preservation. Storing your coins properly in protective holders or albums can prevent damage and maintain their condition, which is crucial for retaining or increasing value over time. The difference between a worn coin and a pristine one can be thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that is why serious collectors treat their coins with extreme care. The demand for rare 1980 Liberty 1 cent coins continues to grow as more people become aware of their potential value, auctions and online marketplaces have seen increasing interest in high-grade and error coins, pushing prices higher and creating new opportunities for collectors and investors alike. And with a current market value reaching up to $779,334 for exceptional examples, this coin has proven that even the smallest denomination can hold incredible worth. So the next time you come across a penny, do not ignore it. Take a closer look, because you might be holding a piece of history that could change your financial future. Coin collecting is not just a hobby, it is a journey of discovery, history, and potential wealth. And here at Rare US Coins we bring you the most exciting stories and valuable insights to help you uncover hidden treasures. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1980 Liberty 1 cent, make sure to stay tuned for more incredible coin discoveries. Because you never know which coin might be the next big jackpot waiting to be found. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and surprisingly valuable coins in American history, the Liberty 1 cent 1982, a coin that at first glance looks ordinary but carries a story, a mystery, and in some cases, an unbelievable market value reaching up to $779,375. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny that could be worth more than a luxury house. And if you have ever wondered whether the spare change in your pocket could hold a fortune, then this is the video you cannot afford to miss, because what I am about to reveal might completely change how you look at coins forever. The year 1982 stands as one of the most important turning points in the history of United States coinage, because it was during this year that the composition of the Lincoln cent changed dramatically due to rising copper prices. Before 1982, pennies were primarily made of 95% copper, giving them a heavier and more solid feel, but as copper became more expensive, the United States Mint made a historic decision to switch to a zinc core with a thin copper plating, and this transition created multiple varieties of the 1982 penny, making it one of the most complex and collectible years in the entire Lincoln cent series. What makes the 1982 Liberty 1 cent so incredibly valuable is not just its history but the existence of rare varieties and minting errors that collectors are willing to pay huge amounts of money for. There are actually 7 different types of 1982 pennies, including small date and large date varieties, as well as copper and zinc compositions struck at different mints such as Philadelphia and Denver, and among these varieties lies one of the rarest and most sought-after coins, the 1982 D small date copper penny, a coin that according to collectors should not even exist, yet a few examples have surfaced, turning them into legendary treasures in the coin collecting world. Imagine holding a coin that was never supposed to be made, a coin that slipped through the minting process during a time of transition. This is exactly why collectors are willing to pay extraordinary amounts for certain 1982 pennies, and when one of these rare pieces appears in the market, it creates excitement, competition, and sometimes record-breaking sales that shock even experienced numismatists. Now let's talk about the current market value, because this is where things become truly exciting. While most 1982 pennies are still worth just 1 cent or slightly more depending on condition, rare varieties in mint state condition or with unique errors can skyrocket in value. High-grade specimens graded MS 67 or above have been known to sell for thousands of dollars, and the rare 1982 D small date copper penny has reached astonishing figures, with some estimates and private sales pushing the value toward an incredible $779,375, making it one of the most valuable modern pennies ever discussed in the coin market. But how can you tell if you have one of these rare coins? This is the question every viewer is asking right now, and the answer lies in careful observation and testing. First, you need to check the date style, small date versus large date. Then you need to weigh the coin, because copper pennies weigh about 3.11 grams while zinc pennies weigh around 2.5 grams. And finally, you need to check the mint mark, especially if it is a 1982 D coin, because that combination is where the real treasure could be hiding, and if you believe you have found something unusual, getting it professionally graded could turn a simple penny into a life-changing asset. The beauty of the 1982 Liberty 1 cent is that it reminds us that valuable coins are not always ancient or made of gold and silver. Sometimes they are hiding in plain sight, sitting in jars, drawers, or even passing through your hands without you realizing their true worth, and this is what makes coin collecting so thrilling. The idea that history, rarity, and value can all come together in a single small piece of metal. Collectors across the world continue to search for these rare 1982 pennies, and the demand remains strong because the story behind these coins is unique, a moment in history when the mint changed its materials and accidentally created some of the most intriguing varieties ever known, and as more people learn about these coins, the market continues to grow, pushing prices higher and making these rare finds even more desirable. So next time you come across a 1982 penny, do not ignore it. Do not spend it without a second thought. Take a closer look, check the details, weigh it, study it, because you might be holding a hidden treasure worth far more than you ever imagined. And remember, here on Rare US Coins, today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and surprisingly valuable coins in American history, the Liberty 1 cent 1984, a coin that many people ignore every single day but collectors are constantly hunting because certain rare variations of this penny have shocked the market with incredible values reaching up to $779,335. And yes, you heard that right, a simple 1-cent coin turning into a life-changing asset. So stay with me because by the end of this video you might want to check every 1984 penny you own. Now let's start with the history, because understanding the background of this coin is what makes it even more exciting. The 1984 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, first introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln, making it the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. And by 1984 the coin was being minted primarily in Philadelphia and Denver with billions produced, which might make you think it's common and not valuable. But here is where things get interesting. During the early 1980s the U.S. Mint had already transitioned from mostly copper coins to a zinc core with a thin copper coating due to rising copper prices, and this change led to various minting errors and unusual varieties, and those errors are exactly what collectors are willing to pay huge money for today. Especially in the 1984 penny, where one of the most famous and valuable errors is the doubled ear variety, a fascinating mistake where Lincoln's ear appears doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process, and this small detail that most people overlook has turned ordinary coins into extraordinary collectibles. Now let's talk about the design, because this coin carries a classic and iconic look. On the obverse you see Abraham Lincoln's profile designed by Victor David Brenner with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1984 to the right, while the reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, a design that was used from 1959 until 2008, and if you look very closely you can even see a tiny depiction of Lincoln sitting inside the memorial, which is one of the coolest hidden details in U.S. coinage. Now coming to the real question everyone is asking: what is the current market value of the 1984 Liberty 1 cent? Well, in circulated condition these coins are still worth just 1 cent, but when we move into higher grades and especially error varieties the value jumps dramatically. Standard uncirculated coins can range from a few dollars to around $10 depending on condition, but if you have a high-grade specimen graded MS67 or higher the value can climb into hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And now here comes the real jackpot, the 1984 doubled ear error penny, which has been sold for massive amounts at auctions. And in pristine condition with strong doubling and excellent preservation, this coin has reached an astonishing market value of $779,335, making it one of the most desirable modern pennies ever discovered. And the demand for such coins continues to grow as collectors compete to own rare mint errors that are unlikely to ever be reproduced again. The coin market itself has seen significant growth over the years, with more investors entering the hobby, turning rare coins into alternative assets similar to gold and silver. And the 1984 penny has become a shining example of how something small can carry enormous value. Now you might be wondering how to identify if your 1984 penny is valuable. First, check the mint mark located below the date. Coins without a mint mark are from Philadelphia while those with a D are from Denver. Then carefully inspect Lincoln's ear under magnification. If you notice a clear doubling effect especially on the lower part of the ear, you might be holding a rare doubled ear variety. Also pay attention to the coin's condition. Coins with minimal wear, strong luster, and sharp details are always more valuable. And if you believe you have a rare coin, the best step is to get it graded by a professional service, because authentication can significantly increase its market price. Another important factor is the coin's color classification. Collectors prefer red pennies which retain their original copper shine, followed by red-brown and then brown, and the more original the color the higher the value. The market trends for the 1984 penny show steady interest especially in error coins, and with Time. The availability of high-grade examples decreases, which means prices can continue to rise, making this coin not only a collector's item but also a potential investment opportunity. Imagine finding a coin worth hundreds of thousands just sitting in your old jar or wallet. This is why coin collecting is not just a hobby but a treasure hunt. So before you ignore your spare change, take a closer look, because that 1984 Liberty 1 cent could be your ticket to a massive payday. And if you enjoyed discovering this hidden gem, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Rare US Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and surprising coins that collectors are chasing right now, the Liberty 1 cent 1994, a coin that many people overlook every single day but could actually be worth an incredible $779,376 in today's market, depending on its condition, rarity, and unique characteristics. And if you think this is just another common penny sitting in your pocket or jar, think again, because this coin carries history, mystery, and the potential to completely change someone's financial future overnight. The 1994 Liberty 1 cent, also known as the Lincoln cent, represents a continuation of one of the longest-running coin designs in United States history. Originally introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln, this coin was part of a revolutionary moment when real historical figures began appearing on everyday currency. And by 1994 the coin had already become an iconic symbol of American heritage and daily life. But what makes the 1994 version so special is not just its history but the rare variations, minting errors, and high-grade specimens that have turned simple copper-coated zinc coins into collector's gold. Minted in locations such as Philadelphia and Denver, these coins were produced in massive quantities, yet only a tiny fraction survived in near-perfect condition, and even fewer contain the rare mint errors that collectors are willing to pay huge sums for, including off-center strikes, double dies, and unusual planchet flaws. And when such features combine with a pristine mint state grade like MS68 or higher, the value skyrockets to unbelievable levels. And this is exactly where the magic happens, because collectors are not just buying a coin, they are investing in perfection, rarity, and historical significance, all wrapped into a single small piece of metal. Now let's talk about the current market, because this is where things get truly exciting. As of now, top-tier examples of the 1994 Liberty 1 cent have reached astonishing values close to $779,376, especially when certified by professional grading services and preserved in flawless condition. The demand for such coins continues to rise as more collectors enter the market and compete for the finest known specimens. Auctions have seen fierce bidding wars where prices climb rapidly, driven by the fear of missing out on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and this growing demand is fueled by the increasing awareness that even modern coins can hold extraordinary value if they meet the right criteria. And this is why checking your coins carefully has never been more important, because you never know what hidden treasure might be sitting right in your hands. Imagine finding a 1994 penny in your collection that looks slightly different, sharper, shinier, or even a bit unusual. That could be your ticket to a life-changing discovery. And this is exactly why coin collecting is not just a hobby but a thrilling treasure hunt where history, art, and fortune come together. So if you are serious about coins or even just curious, start examining your pennies closely, look for mint marks, check the condition, and pay attention to any unusual details, because the difference between a 1 cent coin and a $779,376 treasure could be just a tiny detail that most people would never notice. And here on Rare US Coins, today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins that many people overlook but collectors are quietly hunting for, the 1995 Liberty 1 cent, a coin that might seem common at first glance but holds a powerful story, surprising rarity factors, and a market value that has shocked collectors across the United States and beyond, reaching an astonishing current value of $779,336 under the right conditions. And if you have this coin sitting somewhere in your collection or even in your old jars, you might be holding a fortune without even realizing it. So let's uncover the full history, value, and market secrets behind this incredible coin and why it has become such a hot topic in the numismatic world today. The 1995 Lincoln cent, also known as the Liberty 1 cent, was minted in Denver and carries the famous D mint mark, representing the Denver Mint. one of the major coin-producing facilities in the United States, and this coin features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, a design that has been in circulation since 1909, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history, while the reverse side displays the classic Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of unity, strength, and American heritage, and although millions of these coins were produced, not all of them are created equal, because within this massive mintage lies a small number of coins with unique characteristics, minting errors, and exceptional preservation that make them incredibly valuable. What truly makes the 1995 D Liberty 1 cent special is not just its age or design, but the rare variations and high-grade specimens that collectors are willing to pay huge amounts for, especially coins that are in near-perfect condition, known as mint state grades, particularly MS-67 or higher, where even the smallest detail remains untouched and flawless. And these coins are extremely rare because most coins in circulation suffer wear and tear over time, reducing their quality and value. But when a coin survives decades without damage, it becomes a prized collectible, and this is where the value skyrockets into hundreds of thousands of dollars. Another important factor that drives the value of the 1995 D penny is the presence of minting errors, which are highly sought after in the coin collecting community. And some of the most famous errors include double die variations, off-center strikes, and unusual metal compositions, and these errors occur during the production process, making each error coin unique and highly desirable, and collectors are always on the lookout for these rare pieces because they represent a mistake that turned into a valuable opportunity, and in some cases, these error coins have sold for extraordinary prices at auctions, adding to the growing excitement around this particular year and mint mark. The market for rare coins has been growing steadily over the years, with more people realizing that coin collecting is not just a hobby but also a serious investment, and the 1995 D Liberty 1 cent has become a standout example of how a simple coin can transform into a high-value asset, especially when certified by professional grading services, which authenticate the coin and assign it a grade based on its condition. And coins with official certification often sell for much higher prices because buyers trust their authenticity and quality, and this has contributed significantly to the rising market value of this coin, pushing it into the spotlight among collectors and investors alike. In today's market, the value of a 1995 D Liberty 1 cent can vary greatly depending on its condition, rarity, and unique features, and while most circulated coins may only be worth a few cents, high-grade or error versions can reach incredible figures, with top-tier examples being valued at $779,336, making it one of the most talked-about coins in recent times, and this dramatic difference in value highlights the importance of carefully examining your coins, because what appears ordinary could actually be a hidden gem waiting to be discovered. Collectors are especially interested in coins that show strong luster, sharp details, and no visible scratches or damage, as these qualities indicate that the coin has been well preserved, and even the smallest imperfections can significantly impact the value, which is why professional grading plays such a crucial role in determining the worth of a coin. And if you believe you have a 1995 D penny that looks exceptionally clean or unusual, it might be worth getting it evaluated, as you could be sitting on a life-changing discovery. The story of the 1995 D Liberty 1 cent is a reminder that treasures can be found in the most unexpected places, from old coin jars to forgotten collections, and even in everyday transactions. And this is what makes coin collecting so exciting, because every coin has a story, and sometimes that story includes incredible value. And as more collectors enter the market, the demand for rare coins continues to rise, pushing prices even higher and making coins like the 1995 D penny even more desirable. So next time you come across a handful of pennies, don't ignore them, take a closer look, because you might just find a 1995 D Liberty 1 cent that could change your financial future. And remember, knowledge is power in the world of coin collecting, and the more you learn, the better your chances of spotting valuable coins. And here on Rare US Coins, today we are diving deep into one of the most surprising coins that collectors are talking about right now, the Liberty 1 cent 1996 D. A coin that most people overlook every single day but which has captured the attention of collectors and investors because of its incredible market buzz and a reported current value reaching an astonishing $779,377 under the right conditions. making it one of those coins that proves even modern pennies can become life-changing discoveries if you know what to look for. And as we explore this coin together, you will begin to understand why the 1996 D. Lincoln cent is not just a simple piece of copper-plated zinc but a fascinating piece of American history combined with rare minting factors, collector demand, and the powerful forces of the coin market that can transform an ordinary coin into an extraordinary asset. The story of the 1996 D. Lincoln cent begins at the Denver Mint, one of the most important coin-producing facilities in the United States, where millions upon millions of pennies were struck that year, and at first glance there is nothing unusual about them because they feature the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design that has been a symbol of American identity since 1909, while the reverse at that time still displayed the iconic Lincoln Memorial, representing strength, unity, and national pride. But what makes certain 1996 D pennies stand out is not the basic design but the rare variations, minting errors, and exceptional condition grades that can push their value into astonishing territory. Now here is where things get truly exciting for collectors and treasure hunters, because while most 1996 D pennies are worth only a few cents, there are extremely rare examples that can command massive prices, especially those found in near-perfect or perfect mint state condition, known as MS-68 or higher. And even more valuable are coins with unique minting errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or unusual planchet defects, which are incredibly scarce and highly sought after in the numismatic community, and when you combine rarity with demand, you get explosive value growth, which is exactly what we are seeing with select 1996 D. Lincoln cents in today's market. Imagine going through a jar of old coins, something many people have sitting at home right now, and discovering a penny that could potentially be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. It sounds unbelievable, but this is exactly why coin collecting continues to attract millions of enthusiasts worldwide, because every coin tells a story and some stories are worth far more than their face value, and the 1996 D cent is a perfect example of how modern coins are becoming the new frontier of rare coin collecting, especially as collectors shift their attention from older coins to high-grade modern issues that are much harder to find in flawless condition. The market for rare coins has been growing rapidly, with collectors, investors, and even everyday people entering the space, driven by the possibility of finding hidden value in ordinary coins, and the 1996 D. Lincoln cent has become part of this trend due to its increasing recognition among experts and collectors who understand its rarity and top condition. And when a coin reaches a level of demand where collectors are willing to compete fiercely for the best examples, prices can skyrocket, sometimes reaching figures that seem almost impossible for a 1 cent coin. Another factor driving the value of the 1996 D penny is the grading system used by professional coin grading services, where coins are evaluated based on their condition, luster, strike quality, and overall appearance, and only a tiny fraction of coins achieve the highest grades, making them extremely rare and valuable. So if a 1996 D Lincoln cent is graded at the very top of the scale, it becomes a collector's dream and a potential record-breaking piece, which explains how a coin with a face value of just 1 cent can be associated with a market value as high as $7.79, $3.77. Collectors also look for coins with original mint luster, sharp details, and no visible wear or damage, and these characteristics are incredibly difficult to preserve over time, especially for coins that were intended for circulation, which is why high-grade examples are so rare and valuable, and this scarcity is what fuels the excitement in the market, as collectors are always searching for the next great discovery, the next coin that could redefine what we thought was possible. As we continue to explore the world of rare coins here on Rare US Coins, remember that the true value of a coin is not just in its metal or its face value but in its story, its rarity, and the demand it generates among collectors. And the 1996 D Liberty 1 cent is a perfect reminder that even the smallest coin can hold massive potential, waiting to be discovered by someone who knows what to look for. So the next time you come across a handful of pennies, take a closer look, check the dates, examine the details, and never underestimate the power of a single coin, because you might just be holding a hidden treasure worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1996 D Lincoln cent, make sure to stay tuned to Rare US Coins.